Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is Pyramids Under the Ice. It was written by Josh Harwood and his friend Jason West. Josh is the game master, and this is episode 3. Our recap will be given by John Byram as his character, Dr. Angus Hawkins. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. John?
Thank you, Tom. After witnessing Dr. Court plummet from the deck of the Prophet, the crew actually separated up a bit, which led myself and Leroy finding out about the suicides of several crew members right about the same time. Additionally, we went down to the cargo hold of the ship and found a box which contained a piece of flesh. And that flesh actually belonged to Patrick. Now, you might remember Patrick had the metal jaw, little skin covering it. It was said that this skin was able to regenerate and patch up anything he may have been missing. Well, the crew finally reassembled up in Dr. Court's room, the same Dr. Court who had just plummeted off the deck into the water, not to be seen again. And yet, they found the doctor's corpse basically lying in state beneath a sheet. The investigators dropped the temperature in his room to preserve the body, and all had just about had enough for the night. So we all decided to retire. Now, booming through the morning silence and interrupting all of our fine sleep, we're being summoned to the deck by the captain over the PA. And now, I guess it's time to get back to work.
All right. Thanks. Josh.
Thank you. Thank you, John. That was good. So, it's the morning. You are all being called. You probably all got changed, had your breakfast. It's kind of up to you what you've done. But you're called to come up to the main deck, like all of the expedition crew. So, right. Would anyone like to do anything as they've got changed or whatever before we go up to the main deck?
Not really. I'm cleaned and...
Okay.
Just go to the deck.
Cool. Yeah. Yep. So you go to the main deck and everyone's kind of up there. So most of the crew look half asleep. Well, half asleep. One thing that is odd is, as you've compared to yesterday, is as you've actually come up the stairs, there's actually security at the bottom of each set of stair, and that's unusual because yesterday you barely saw any security. And when you get to the main deck, there's actual crew working. All the crew are actually working on the ship, doing a bit of maintenance, having a look around. And the captain is stood in front of you guys as you come up and join the crowd. And the captain stood there. He looks sober. He looks really awake. He looks happy. And he stood there with next to him Patrick, Fawn, and then you've got Worthington and the Carlyles stood there. And the captain just speaks up and he goes, I do apologize for last night, everyone. I just want to make a formal apology that my drunken behavior may have led to worse consequences. However, from one of my crew, they did get hold of 2 other ships, and they reported that at the same time as Dr. Cott went overboard, all their ships went into blackout. Their ships just stopped. And they couldn't get hold of anyone. They couldn't get hold of the Coast Guard. Couldn't get hold of anyone except from the ships in their vicinity. Well, not vicinity, but close enough. Ships that are in the proximity of the area. But
What do you mean they had the blackout? Did they lose power?
Yeah, they lost power to everything. The ship just stopped. Power went out everywhere.
Including communication.
Yeah, communication, but they could get hold of us and the other ship that was affected.
They didn't have any security matters on board their ships, did they?
No, they're just, one's a cargo ship and one's a passenger ship. No security on board. Just the crew.
Did anyone go overboard?
From what they have told us this morning, they are obviously all back on track and moving and got all communications. But what they've told us is, no, nothing like that. They haven't lost any crew. Everyone is accounted for. And they just thought it was weird. But it all happened.
Yeah.
But I'm just sorry that we could have maybe not have saved Dr. Cord, but we could have at least recovered his body if I had not been so drunk. I do apologize.
Well, we have his body.
The captain just looks really shocked by that. And
Somebody must have recovered the body.
He kind of just stops, and Patrick takes over. He's like, "What do you mean you found the bodies here? I mean, what do you mean you?"
It's in his room, covered in the sheet.
But he went overboard, as far as I'm aware.
We can't explain it. Like I say, somebody must have recovered the body. We did bring the ship around.
Yeah, I know that. But why didn't you tell one of us when you found the body what the rest of the expedition? Why didn't you tell?
Tell who? Mr. Worthington was aware of it. You were asleep, drunk.
So yeah, Fawn wasn't. This is Patrick Fawn speaking now, by the way. Just for
Well, we went to your quarters, but you did not seem to care one way or the other. So we chose to discuss it amongst ourselves.
Well, at the time of Dr. Cord going overboard, I was a bit stressed over the fact we had already lost 2 crew members by suicide down in the bottom decks. But, a lot happened last night.
When do we arrive on the coast of Antarctica?
We have about, originally it was a bit longer, but they have said we got a bit closer for some reason, and even though we turned around, we somehow got closer. Captain, do you want to take over? Yeah, we'll be there within about 3 days. Which is unusual because last night as far as we were aware, it would take us about 6 days to get there. But our journey's been cut
what I thought I remembered.
But our journey's been cut in half. I cannot explain it, and I don't think I'd be able to anyway, considering my state last night. So I'm going to go back up to the bridge now, and I'll leave it to the Carlyles to really discuss what they wanted to discuss this morning. So he kind of just walks off back up the stairs, up to the bridge. And, Patrick Fawn kind of just goes over to his 3 other Pyrrha employees and stands there. Worthington's kind of just sat on a chair. He's kind of brought a chair and he's sat there because he's like touching his head. He looks a bit worse for wear. And the Carlyles speak. Well, Robert Carlyle speaks, and he just goes, "Right. So, I don't want to alarm anyone on the crew. I do apologize. It is a sad shame that we have lost Dr. Court. It's a shame that we lost the crew, but we can't give up. We have to keep moving on. This expedition, as much as I would love to just turn around and give up, but he then kind of just almost looks like he's about to cry because of..." And his wife Olivia just pipes up and just goes, "That's it, everyone. Just everyone go back to their quarters. Each of you will be a slip of paper will go under your doors later, or not, because someone will give it to you, and that will just give you instructions of what to do over the next 3 days, or at least what to prepare over the next 3 days. So everyone enjoy the next 3 days of this journey. Any questions, actually?
No.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yes.
Last night, when we needed them most, we had no security anywhere around. And yet today, when we're just coming up to have a chat, it seems like we're trying to break through bank vaults just to get up here. So what changed in 5 hours or 6 hours that we were asleep?
Well, we all decided as the leadership team that we needed to make sure the security were on point now after the incidents of last night, because it may not have happened if we had more security, and the security weren't all just in the same place on their deck. So we have specifically told Mr. Hunt, who is the head of security, that he needs to make sure there are security in a place where they can always keep an eye on everyone every hour of every day of the rest of this expedition.
I have never done any sort of security work, but to me it just seems intuitive that that's what they would have been doing from the beginning.
Yeah, well, that was up to the head of security, to be honest. But we just told him he had to make sure everything was secure, and then obviously last night it clearly wasn't secure.
Well, I think I've heard enough. I just turn around and start walking out.
Okay.
I reach out to Dr. Z.
Everyone kind of does anyway, like all of the other expedition crew. The Carlyles, Worthington, and the Pirate Industries employees kind of all gather and start having a chat on the main deck anyway. But the rest of the expedition crew kind of just start going back to their quarters.
So, Dr. Hawkins, where is Dr. Curtis? Is Indiana Jones off on some adventure this morning?
The only adventure he's doing is in the bathroom. I heard him in there getting sick all morning. I think he had probably more than one too many last night. But yeah, he is in no shape. He was in no shape to climb the stairs just to get to the deck.
It was probably the lutefisk.
The combination.
No, if he had eaten that, he would feel better. And now it's just all gone.
Think whatever you want, Jorgen.
Gentlemen, if you don't mind, we can gather together in one of our cabins.
I was going to ask.
I
Something's not right.
I honestly feel like the security was there to keep us from killing the command crew that seemed to have abandoned us last night.
They were about to have a mutiny on their hands if they didn't.
I'm not so sure that they're still not about to have such a thing, but they seem to be pulling themselves together, so I imagine we just need to bide our time for the next 3 days. But I'll do what tests I can on the body and see if I can identify any bacteria or virus that is affecting people, to suicides, and for all we know, it seems like a hallucination. Yes, Dr. Cort thought that he could see something.
Well,
It's like
I when we retired last night, this morning, I got ready for bed and lay down for about 5 minutes, and then I knew I couldn't sleep until I examined the specimens for a bit, so I am quite tired, but everything appeared normal except the soil, the mud, does not make sense to me for New Zealand, for where we left from. It seems to come from an environment that is, well, more wet, although we left from the coast. But if you were more inland in New Zealand, the soil does not seem the same kind. It's from somewhere else.
Really?
Which makes him having it on his shoes even more peculiar to me.
Well, where did he get it on board a ship such as this?
Indeed.
Well, he didn't get it from the cargo hold. Me and Leroy walked all over it, checking it out. There was none. There's no equipment down there with mud on it. There's no mud on the ground. We specifically looked for it, and we found nothing.
It's also interesting that, I'm sorry, please, David.
Oh, is it just mud, just dirt, or is there like mossy biomass? Is there vegetation slush in it, or just dirt?
It seemed to be just regular if he was in a muddy place and stepped in the mud. That's all it was. And
you are a biologist. Have you looked to see if there's any organic material, perhaps bacteria that is not native to the area, or something that you would expect to see perhaps in a tropical climate and not in a cold climate?
Question for the keeper.
I'll just nothing peculiar. So it definitely everything seems normal, basically.
Okay. It is significant that the other two ships in the area seem to have a power blackout. We did not experience such a thing, no?
We did not, yeah.
Jorgen was able to take over the boat and start driving, so.
Like a magnetic pulse.
Clearly, that is what saved us.
I'm almost wondering if they're saying that these ships had blackouts just to cover his rear, because being drunk on duty was certainly not professional, leaving someone we might have had a slim chance, but still slim nonetheless, of maybe rescuing Dr. Court.
Well, I think that we should definitely make note of it and follow up later when we have actual access to the outside world.
Can I just ask you, whose room did you? I'm assuming you're in a room now. Whose room are you in?
Let's say Jorgen's.
I just picked our Dr. Z's, but all right, we are in Jorgen's room
With the loot fish.
No, he can't find
well, with the lack of
Ludwig's
Lutefisk, thanks to some Dritsek who. Yeah, well, I must say, I saw a great deal of activity from the fish in the water off the back deck this morning, and
Really?
I think they were eating. So I think perhaps some son of a bitch, Dritsek, might have fed them with some Lutefisk. Dr. Z, you look suspiciously confused, as if you are faking it.
I don't know what you're accusing me of. I will not touch your Lutefisk for fear of getting it on my very delicate hands.
Well, it is all gone now.
There's suddenly a knock on Jorgen's door, by the way.
Come in.
So yeah, they come in, and it's a woman, and to Angus, it's Dr. Kimley. Or so Dr. Lee.
Oh.
And she just goes.
Well, does she have a piece of paper?
Yeah, she has a bit of paper, but but that seems to just be by her side. She seems to want to talk to you, Johansson, because she kind of just walks over to you straight away.
Do you want us to leave?
Well, yeah. What can I do for you, Dr. Kim?
Well, you're a biologist as well, right?
Yeah.
Did I hold on? Let me just give me a second.
I also actually have quite a bit of training in chemistry and biotechnology.
I think I might have made a mistake there. Give me a second. Yeah, no, it's fine. So she goes, so I heard there was mud in the mud on where Dr. Court fell off.
That is correct. Muddy shoe prints.
Well, I know I'm just like a geologist, but I thought I could take a look at the mud as well if you have any samples of it.
Perhaps you will know the geology.
Because I'm kind of intrigued.
I do indeed, and I will take out the sample. I will take out the sample jar, and I only had to use a little for when I was studying it, says to the GM. So I will hand it to her.
Okay. She also just goes,
I hope
so
you can find something more than I did.
well, I doubt well, you're the biologist here. I doubt I will. If you found nothing, I doubt I'll find anything, but I might as well give it a go. And she just goes, I've got the letter for you guys, but it kind of just says, make sure you get all your gear ready, make sure you got all your clothes, make sure you're just prepared, basically, over the next 3 days.
So basically, it's a note from Mom when we were 12.
Yeah, it's pretty much for leadership wanting to make sure that we're ready. I think we're all professionals, right?
Do we have lockers assigned to us with?
Well, except for the crew.
Pardon, David?
Oh, do we have lockers for actual mission-issued gear, equipment, and clothing, or do we just use what we've brought along with us?
You've got what you brought along with you, but in the storage area on ship and in the cargo hold, there's a lot more of like equipment for certain jobs and stuff. So I don't really say that you can gather it all together, but there are like stuff that's labeled by like flasks and equipment for certain jobs and stuff. So yeah, so Dr. Lee kind of walks off, but she kind of looks at Hawkins, and as she leaves, she almost stops and looks at Hawkins, then she continues to go along. And she then just says bye to everyone and just walks off.
So this makes me think about my friend Chen, who I am beginning to question my friendship with him, Mr. Terminator. Who knows the most about his crazy regrowing skin? Sorry for my disheveled appearance.
Well, now, I probably know a lot about it, don't I? I mean, it's biomedical. I'm a doctor.
Yeah, you would know a bit about it. You would know that you'd probably have worked with a lot of Korea Industries tech in the past few years. So yeah, you would know about their capabilities with the skin and stuff.
Yes, it's one of the more modern developments in plastic surgery technique. The reconstitution skin that is usually stretched over a foundation or artificial foundation. If his jaw was injured at one time, then it is designed to act as a graft. Anything else, GM, that I should be?
No, I think the stuff that Patrick Thorne has, they're kind of specific to his equipment, is specific to Pirate Industries that they probably haven't shared yet.
It's cutting edge, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I may have said the wrong name.
Yeah, your friend Johansson is Chen Wu, who's the doctor of psychology.
Chen Wu. And Dr. Thorne is the one with the crazy skin.
Yeah, Patrick Thorne's the technically head honcho, but
he is the money man.
Yes. So, would any of you like to discuss anything else or do anything else?
I would just like to reiterate, I think we need to pare down the number of people we actually trust and confide in. Probably two of the people in this room. I have not really had much contact with the other expedition members. And I think we are the ones who seem to be encountering most of the bizarre events. So I think I would like to keep what we know and who we trust to a very few people.
Yeah, I don't know many of the crew myself. I just know two in security, and basically Doug in security. I just went through basic with him, and that was quite a while ago, over a decade ago. And Kane, who was in operations, but again, that was several years ago. So we haven't kept in touch. Not really sure what's going on with them.
And I know nobody now. Dr. Court was my friend and colleague. He recommended me for this job. And now the only person that I more or less completely trust is David Palmer. Because I don't know. He's one of those people who makes you feel like you can trust him.
Well, and also, Mr. Palmer, as far as I can tell, you were the only security person who was not just palling around in the security room, not doing their job. When bad things were happening, they, as far as I can tell, were just sitting around drinking beers in the security room, while you were the only one sort of on the outs with them, by all appearances, doing your job.
It threw me for a loop. The security details I did before was usually much more in a team. This is the first time I've just been selected to be embedded with a group as the sole security. So, and in this case, just for you, Dr. Z, so more almost like a bodyguard for some reason. I'm still a little unsure as to why you would need a bodyguard. I mean,
I do not know either. It seems to be something that was set up by Dr. Court. So
Yeah.
Dr. Court seemed to feel, he must have felt there was something wrong here.
yeah.
And perhaps
Well, Dr. Court, who seems to have experienced some sort of bizarre spatial anomaly and now also has done so again and is dead, or twice dead, or something. I mean, is there a Dr. Court body floating around in the ocean as well as rotting in his room?
You know, there's something else. The body is quite deteriorated. And we are somehow 3 days closer to Antarctica than we were before. And the other ships had a blackout of some sort. Now, I am not a big fan of science fiction, but in a science fiction movie, all of this would make sense somehow.
Well, I bet the captain,
Well,
trying to cover his rear again, probably just put the ship full steam ahead to gain time. Because we did loop around, which probably stalled us for a little bit.
20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but that does not in any way help to explain how Dr. Court's body magically appeared on the ship and is now, I mean, it takes a long time for a human body to begin to actually liquefy. It becomes rather disgusting, but actual, like, turning into soup does not happen for sometimes up to a month, depending on the temperature and environmental conditions.
What happened if when Dr. Court fell over, there might have been some sort of heavy concentration for whatever reason of acid of some sort in the ocean? Might have it expedited.
Or lie from somebody's lutefisk being thrown away.
Or perhaps that's what the fish were eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perhaps he was attacked by saltwater Arctic piranha.
But his
I think I will go with teleporting time travel more than that before I will go there.
But his body clearly looks decayed from time, not from any sort of chemical acidic type reaction, right?
Correct. Yes.
Right, and there's no indication that he was being eaten.
But we also did have some indication that he was in two places at once. Maybe he did have a twin that we were not aware of.
Yeah, there is the hotel and on board, what, this ship? Is that what it was? I'm a little confused about when that, was that on the first expedition?
Yeah.
I am told he was in a hotel and also...
Well, it was while because he stayed with the ship, well, as far as they're aware, everyone saw him on the ship waiting for the actual expedition to come and join the ship, but people saw him at the hotel as well.
At the same time?
Yeah.
So for this particular expedition we are on now?
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking about that I also want to say is, if I recall correctly, the two crewmen who hung themselves were two of the three remaining helicopter pilots.
Yeah.
And the only now one surviving one is the captain of this ship. Is that correct?
A few of the other crew members can fly, but they fly the helicopters. But those were the three who flew the surveyor group back and forth.
So again, we have something anomalous and in this case really bad happening to only people who fit into a very specific category. Only the ones who flew the helicopters have been killing themselves.
We need to do a culture on all of the people, and see if there's any commonality between them. A virus, perhaps.
Well, I did in fact collect some samples from the crew members who hung themselves, so we have that to look at. Actually, GM, did I look at them as well, or did I pass out before I could get that far?
I would say you'd passed out before you did them too. I would say probably first.
Well, then
okay, I was pretty tired.
You have some work to do today. I'm going to return to my room and see if my little mysterious slip of paper shows up.
Yeah, I'm leaving this room.
Well.
And
it will just tell you to make sure to take a shower and clean your room.
So what is everyone else doing?
Excuse me, Dr. Hawkins, I didn't...
Dr. Hawkins, if you wouldn't mind joining me for a few moments in my cabin.
Sure.
I'm going to go back to my room and see if the paper's there.
Well, you're in your room because we're in your hands.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Was there a specific piece of paper for me, too, or?
No, it seemed to just be for a room, and it was just a piece of paper that the woman brought.
Oh, just per room? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Palmer, David, you can join us if you want. Okay, so we've moved over to my room.
Before you move on to your room, I'll just say, as you're heading to your room, you actually get stopped by Ricardo and Esteban, who are the engineers. They're the engineers for the expedition.
Mr. Ricardo, Mr. Esteban, what can we do for you?
When you see him, Esteban looks like he looks very scared almost. So Ricardo speaks and he's just like, we didn't want to bring it up, but in that meeting, but we knew that you were all having your own little investigation of the group, of the incidents of last night, and we it sounds crazy, but we swear we saw 3 unusual things. We saw a shadow of some giant creature underneath the ship. But then we also saw, at the time that everyone was saying they saw Dr. Court go overboard, we were talking to him.
You were
and then we were talking to him. And then the other thing is, when we turned around to go to the commotion, we looked back to bring Dr. Court with us, and he had vanished. And that was very peculiar to us. Very peculiar.
Where were you guys at when you were talking to him?
We were just, we were in our room.
On your
He was
room?
with us in our room.
Why was Dr. Court with you in your room?
Well, he wanted to talk to us about some engineering work that will needed to be done at the when we get to the base, and he was just going through what needs to be done, and he was laying out the map for us, and we were just talking about the logistics of that kind of stuff, and he was very helpful.
And how do you know it was at the same time?
Well, we were talking to him when the alarm went off. That someone pressed when someone went overboard. The alarm that went.
Oh.
And
Both.
Another, now it is tri-location.
So we are a little bit spooked, which is why Esteban is a little bit quiet here, because he doesn't know what to believe anymore. Neither do I, frankly. But I just thought we'd let you know. But I'm just going to take. I'm going to take my brother and get him a drink.
Oh, one last thing before you go. The shadow of the creature you saw, what was the time frame of that? Did you see that?
I don't know. It's during the commotion of everything.
What?
It was definitely after when Dr. Court supposedly fell off.
What,
I think
what is it you think you saw? A whale? A shark? How
I
big?
haven't. It was like 3 times the size of the ship. We could see the shadow. We were looking down because we were trying to, because obviously people were saying Dr. Court had gone over, so we were looking. And we asked, what's her name? Rose. She's one of the Pira, and because she was looking down as well, but she said she didn't see anything.
3 times the size of the ship. That's bigger than any known whale.
Yes, that's.
It's larger than any animal ever on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
We could, to be honest, we could have just been seeing things, but oh my god, it was almost like it was there, and it was about to just
And
almost
both of you.
take go for us in.
Well, go get your friend Esteban a drink. Thank you for
He's my brother, my friend.
your brother. Go.
Yes.
And thank you for telling us.
Yes, I didn't want to tell that Patrick Fawn because, to be honest, I don't trust him. So they just walk off. They go to where you guys go to eat, but the bar's in there as well. So they've probably just gone to sit at the bar. So.
I'm not sure I believe them.
I think I do. Just a little bit.
But it was a moonless night, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. How could they see a shadow under the ship?
Magic, but Rose did not.
Yeah.
No.
So the reason I wanted to talk to you is I do not mean to pry into personal or things, but I'm trying to get an understanding of everything that is going on board the ship.
You
And
want to know about Kim?
Yes, it would seem that you and Kim and Dr. Curtis and the Jacob,
Carl.
whatever his name is, there seems to be some tension there between you, and I want to understand it better.
Let's get to your room, and because
Yeah,
I
I'd
really
say
don't want to
you-
go through all this
you-
in your hallway.
Yeah.
I'd say you're in the room now, but I would say you're in the room.
And I shall pull out some ouzo.
There you go. Because nothing starts the day off better than a fine shot of ouzo.
Well, it is an aperitif. It is before you eat, so.
Yes. Yeah. It'll also go good in my coffee. So, to clarify one thing real quick, Leroy and I are friends.
I think that's as obvious.
And I don't want to go too far into his business, but as you know, Patrick's wife was soon to be Leroy's wife just a mere, 6 months to a year ago.
Ah, okay. Now this makes sense.
Yeah. So without going too far into that, then that's kind of where that's going. So you can see why he would be so wound up on that. So that was, that answers your question.
Yes, I think that does answer my question.
Yep. That should answer it all.
And now my desire for drama wants to know, why did she leave him? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I have no idea. I really have no idea.
I have no idea why she would leave this handsome Indiana Jones to marry a prickish asshole with a metal face.
Who has a lot of money.
I tell you, you and Leroy should go bowling. That's you guys got a lot in common.
Well, and you say the voice from the sky said she has a lot of money, but
Patrick has a lot of money.
there it is again. I think somebody is listening to us out there. But, if she is that shallow, then he is good riddance to her.
Yeah.
She's quite the looker, though. I mean, it's kind of a loss if you're into the whole visual part.
Well, the truth is if you have the money, you can get any beautiful woman you want.
That is a fact.
Except the smart ones.
Yeah. Found that out.
All right. Well, that is none of my business other than that. But thank you. I need to know that there's some sort of tension going on there.
Yeah, plenty. It's yep. That's his tension.
What do we do now? I suppose we just wait.
The two brothers, friend Ricardo and Esteban, when we were coming in, something struck me odd there is that the other crew member, Rose, she didn't see that shadow. She didn't see that creature. And if Esteban and Ricardo were both on that original expedition, they would see it. Well, what if they were exposed to something on that expedition, and if maybe Rose was not on that expedition?
Well, Dr. Johansson and I will be doing some tests to determine if there's any physiological reason a virus. I keep suspecting a virus. There are viruses that affect the mind. There are poisons and toxins that affect the mind. But your friend Curtis seems to have found his own toxins. And he's paying the price.
Yeah, Curtis. Leroy is actually expelling many toxins, and I don't even want to go back in the room for a couple of
You
hours.
could probably hear him, to be honest.
Yeah,
Well, you are welcome to stay here for now.
I appreciate it.
Perhaps we shall play a little cards. Do you like to play cards?
Sure. Actually, I need to go see someone. Take a little trip.
Enjoy your day. Come back if you need something.
I will. I absolutely will. I'm gonna.
Okay.
And thank you for the drink. And before I leave, would you mind if I top off?
No, go ahead.
Excellent. I top off my coffee.
Just remember that Ouzo is a pretty strong.
Oh, it's fine. It's a fine beverage, but where I'm going, it'll work out just fine.
So, David, it's just you and me to play cards.
Great. Gin rummy.
Gin rummy, that works, yes.
Okay.
Go fish.
So, Johansson and Napier, what are you two doing in your room right now?
You guys are
You
muted.
are mute.
I'm just sitting there thinking about just all the weird events that happened last night.
Okay.
Well, Jacob, I don't know if anyone else had plans to do this, but I was thinking perhaps we could go speak to the captain, since at the moment he is the only surviving helicopter pilot from the first expedition, and I would like to see if he has anything he is wanting to not say that we can get him to say anyway.
And you have to remember, Jorgen, he's also sober at this point.
That is very true. We might have a rare opportunity.
Let's go see that captain and see what he has to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Very well.
I'd say you guys go up. What you do, as you go through the halls, you do see you see a few of the other crew members. You see Benny and Dwayne, who are the trackers, who Napier kind of, and they're there. They're kind of just having a chat together. You also see Cara and Samantha Green, who are two Pira Industries members. They're kind of just having a chat, and you just go up. You see the Carlyles, Worthington, and Patrick still having a chat on the main deck, and you just go to the captain, and he's there like whistling along. It's like,
excuse me, Captain.
Yeah, what brings you here?
Well, I was just hoping to speak to you a little about the initial expedition. It occurs to me, to be blunt, that you are the only helicopter pilot who has not yet committed suicide.
I'm the only one from that surveyor mission still alive, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Well, speaking as a biologist, I am just wondering if perhaps you gentlemen or you people contracted some sort of illness that has affected your perceptions, and was wondering if perhaps you would allow me to draw some samples, blood, etc., to examine and see if perhaps you may be ill in some way.
Yeah, go ahead. You can take any samples you want. I'm not too bothered. If that helps you get to the bottom of what happened to the surveyor crew, and my two dead crewmates who died last night, and obviously Dr. Court as well. So then,
yeah. So is he piloting right now, or we're on the bridge, or is he somewhere else?
He is. He's on the bridge, but there is a.
Well, if you can just tell me when you would be. Sorry, GM.
He's got a crewmate with him, so he's just like, "Hey, just take over. We can do it now if you want, and I'll just come back up and take back over."
All right. Well, then, Jacob, do you want to come with?
I'll come with. I have a question for the captain. Was there anything that you guys were in contact that the other crew members weren't when you're on the first expedition? All three of you guys?
No, it's so well. As far as I'm aware, there was like one of the people who was already there. They found something a bit weird. They under some of the ice where they eventually found a staircase. So I don't know if you guys will know about that at the minute, but if you do, now you do. If you didn't, but there was found a stone staircase. Well, sandstone staircase.
A staircase under the ice.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some weird stuff, but that's
not
something.
weird. That's not weird. Because we didn't see me and my two crew members who came with me. We didn't see that because we didn't go to it. But we did see the guy who brought back a sample of the ice, and you could see. And we watched him do it because he wanted a bit of a helping hand, and everyone else was preoccupied. And he looked through the ice, and it was clear. And then he smashed into the ice, and a bit of mud came out of it in the middle of the ice. Yet, from what we could see, there was no mud in it. But he smashed into it and a bit of mud came out of it.
You said mud?
Yes, mud.
Is the sample still around here?
No, that's back at... I'm assuming it will be back at the Henderson station.
Was Dr. Court around when this happened?
No, he was with. I'm pretty sure he was with the group who went down the sandstone staircase. I'm not 100% sure.
So you had no contact with
Do
it.
you
Okay.
happen to recall the color of the mud?
Yeah, it just looked like your standard mud. It was wet as well, which it was in the ice, so but it's wet mud.
But did it have to thaw before it became like texture wet, or was it immediately sloppy when the ice was broken?
Immediately sloppy, which obviously was unusual. But the doctor who was looking at it, he literally just went, "I'm gonna have to." When I have a second, he just went, "I'm gonna have to do more. I'm gonna have to look into this more." But yeah, by the time he probably had a chance to look into it, we'd already set off back.
That gentleman's not here anymore. He's not on this boat.
As far as I know, he was one of the Henderson Station crew members, so he was one of the doctors at the Henderson Station.
So he's possibly still there.
He should be.
Okay.
Should be still there.
Now, when you say doctor, do you mean like a PhD or an MD?
PhD. As far as I'm aware, PhD. We didn't really talk to him that much, but yeah, if you wouldn't mind if we could go get these samples done, so then I can come back to the fridge.
Yes, of course. Well, we will go to Dr. Z's room and knock.
Well, he has all the equipment, so he could help us better. Yes.
Yeah, and he's the actual doctor.
Very true.
Okay.
I have some training.
You guys will head back there, but what I'll do is I'll see what Hawkins is up to before I go to you four.
Well, I see you're back with me. I've got a cup full of liquor, and I'm heading to talk to. I'd like to go up to the top deck.
Okay.
And I'm looking for Worthington.
You can see him instantly. He's literally stood in the same place, sat on the chair. The Carlyles are to the side of him, but he's kind of not actually talking to them. The Carlyles are talking to Patrick, but he's kind of just sat there holding his head because he clearly has a headache of some sort.
I'm just at the top of the steps just before getting up, so he can see me and I can see him.
Yeah, if you can get his attention, he should be able to see you. Hold on. I'm gonna. Yeah, he'll see you.
Good deal.
He'll see.
So I'm gonna wave him over.
Yeah, you just hear him go. Sorry, Olivia, Robert, and Patrick. I'm going to have to step away for a second. You know that he only goes posh when he's trying to slip away from. He only ever tries to talk posh when he's trying to slip away. And he comes over to you and he's like, "What do you want?"
So, do you want a little nip of this? Take the edge off that headache this morning.
Yeah, why not?
There you go. Give him a little sip of that, just to kind of take that edge off, a little hair of the dog.
Yeah, he takes a sip.
Yeah, Leroy's a wreck right now, but
damn.
So yeah. Anyway, so what's the word up here, man? What's the skinny that they're not telling us? Because they kind of cut us off early and basically told us go to your room.
Honestly, my head has hurt so much, but I haven't really been paying attention. But you know me, I only pay attention if it's to do with alcohol and stuff like that. But
right. Okay, that's cool.
However, I did get a little bit of what they were talking about. So they were just talking about they were talking about those blackouts on the other two ships, and they were talking about the incidents last night. They weren't going into specifics. Well, as far as I'm aware, I wasn't really paying attention.
Right.
Pretty much, they were just going into a more extensive talk about what they were talking to everyone this morning. So.
Oh, good deal, man. I'll leave you with it. I got some. I'm sure you got a medical bay here that has aspirin or whatever for that headache, but also water. Jam down tons of water; it'll clear that shit right up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to. He kind of he starts to walk down because he's gonna go to his room.
Oh, good. I go down. I walk back down too because I'm gonna head to the room right next to mine and Leroy's, on the far side, and knock and finally talk to Dr. Kim.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do this now. Yeah, you knock and you get an answer.
So,
It's you. Kind of looks to the side a little bit, kind of away.
yeah, this isn't really a social call. I saw you took the samples. Were you already running those in there, or how long does that take?
Yeah,
I'm not
haven't.
saying you're bad at your job or taking a long time or whatever. I'm just asking in general how long.
I haven't done it yet. I'm also working on my latest book as well. So
Ah, funny that you would put something with chapters in it, being as you cut ours short so quickly.
she kind of just like, well, things happen in life, and have you ever moved on, Hawkins?
I have. I've moved on. I'm fine. I'm doing great. Matter of fact, I'm sleeping with Leroy now, right next to you. Isn't that great? Not in the same bed, but we're sleeping at the same place. So yeah, really moved up. Really moved up.
I see you're still friends with Leroy.
How can you not? He's a great guy.
Yeah, but he's a bit reckless sometimes, isn't he?
I saw you and Woo. What's up with that?
No, we're just friends. He helped me out in a rough patch.
Hmm.
He's a good listener. Well, he's a psychologist after all. So.
Yeah. Sure, he's a great guy. So, no mud samples, huh? That's tough. That's tough.
No, well, I'm gonna start on them in a little while. Well, we got 3 days for me to look at them. So.
Yeah, no kidding. Not to be weird, but knock on the wall if you want to holla. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She kind of.
Yeah.
She kind of just.
I don't want to make it weird.
A little bit.
I don't want to make it weird. So
she kind of blushes a little bit, then kind of just goes, "Well, goodbye, Hawkins."
I'm going. All right. And I'm gonna walk back into our room and face the mess that is in there.
Okay. So I will go to the other floor then, if you've gone back into the room. So Dr. Z, David, Johansson, and Napier walk into your room.
Ha! Dr. Z, that's 3 in a row you've won.
Well,
Lucky Greek.
I used to play a lot in medical school.
Okay, I bet.
What sort of card game are you playing?
Yin Rummy. I'm
Yin
sorry.
Rummy.
Suddenly I have ignored accent all of a sudden.
Well, that's okay. It's probably better than mine. Do you happen to have any of your drink? I really enjoy that.
The Uzo, of course.
Uzo. Yeah, Uzo.
Some people find it is, if they don't like licorice, then they don't usually like it. But
I am a big fan. You don't get much licorice in Norway.
I think your aquavit has a little bit of that. Not as licoricey, but it's got some licorice flavor to it.
Yeah.
Right there with absinthe.
Yes, like absinthe.
I have heard of this.
Absinthe
yes, I think they call it the Green Dreams or something like that.
The Green Fairy, I believe.
Anyway, I have brought, as you can see, Captain Hansen here. He has agreed to allow us to take some blood and a few other samples.
Excellent.
Given that he is the only, given that all these anomalous things seem to be occurring within specific clusters of people. For instance, he was one of the helicopter pilots and is now the only one who has not committed suicide. and we have samples from the dead 2 crewmen, I would like to take similar samples from him, to which, as I say, he has consented, so that we can examine them for any sort of microbial contamination or anything else that might indicate what is wrong, something that they may have picked up from Henderson Station or from Antarctica when they were there. Boy, that was a long sentence, wasn't it?
Well, no, that's exactly what we need. It does seem like the one commonality is that they've all been to Antarctica, specifically Henderson Station.
Yeah.
Correct? Yes, that might be the epicenter of the problem.
Question for the keeper.
Yes.
Is there a laptop computer console station in our quarters?
Yeah, all of them have like a desk with like a laptop and a computer and stuff.
Well, they were just saying that. I spin on over and I try to log into my security account and start running a report on just who on board this ship has been to Antarctica before, perhaps maybe their dossier, their past missions.
As you're doing it, I can give back. You have access instantly to records. All of Hansen's crew have been on this ship before that's been to Antarctica, but only Hansen and the 2 deceased helicopter pilots from Hansen's crew have actually been into Antarctica, so gone further in. So Henderson Station.
Okay, I relay that to Dr. Johansson and Dr. Z and maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Z and Johansson, are you going to take his blood?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say
Well, we
you
can't actually drill in and take a brain sample like we did with the other 2, but just kidding.
Yeah,
So,
I'll just say,
look in his pupils, do some pupil size opening and closing exam, which I can't think of the proper term for. Take some blood and urine sample, and if he doesn't fight us, we'll take a stool sample. And
yeah, he seems very forthcoming, so I'd say you take the next however long and you get all these samples. He's very forthcoming. He's like a different person from last night. Like, he's a lot cheerier and he's just getting on with it.
Well,
all right.
We shall see what this comes up with. Hopefully we can identify if there is a problem.
Okay. Hansen will then just go off once you've taken all the samples. He'll just disappear.
Okay.
So my next question is, I think I just kind of want to know what you guys want to do over the next 3 days, because I kind of then want to maybe skip ahead to.
Okay. I thought that we were supposed to get some sort of instructions.
Yeah, you will have all gotten instructions, and they'll pretty much be the exact same as what Jorgen got. So even though they said you all have separate instructions,
all right,
it's all pretty much get prepared, get ready, and all that.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
It basically said, be competent and do your work.
What do we find in the next 3 days with our samples? Anything unusual?
Okay, so what you do find over the next 3 days in your samples is, obviously it takes a while to start off with. Everything looks normal, but I'd say you you would do a thorough search. So you look back, and you do see this weird, like, in the blood, it's almost like a muddy texture in the blood. That's where, the more you look in, it's almost like mud particles that you'd see in mud in the blood.
Mud in the blood.
Yeah, mud in the blood.
We call it muddy blood. Bloody muddy. Okay, this is insane. We shall hopefully they have better facilities at Henderson Station. Now, is Henderson Station at the South Pole, or is that where we're landing?
You'll be landing. You'll be coming to McMurdo Station, which is a real station in real life.
Right.
And then you'll get helicopters almost central Antarctic. Well, it's not proper central, but you get helicopters over there as long as the weather's okay when you get there.
All right. Well, yes, I don't think that we have anything special to do over the next 3 days.
Yeah, I just want to... Hawkins, would you want to do anything over the next 3 days? Or would you just continue looking after Leroy? And that's... I'm going to leave that to chance. I'm going to... I'll come back to
I do
you.
have something to throw in just a moment.
I guess. Napier, would you have done anything over the next 3 days, or would you have stuck with Johansson?
Just stuck with Johansson and looked over information.
Okay. And
So,
Palmer,
everyone... Oh, sorry, Palmer.
Yeah.
Oh, my focus is just basically assisting Dr. Z if he needs any assistance, trying to learn a little bit of his, how to be maybe a field nurse or medic. I've only trained a little bit in that.
I love instructing and teaching. So anything you probably ask me, how do you tell when somebody has been dead for how long based on the lividity of their blood and their rigor mortis, and I probably have all that information.
Wonderful.
We have long and interesting medical talks.
Yeah, I've definitely been around dead people in some of what I've experienced in the past. And of course, I also try to beat Dr. Z eventually in Jinrani. That's my alternate goal.
After about 700 hands, you won about 250 of them, maybe.
Give me a second. Oh, I'm messing this up right now.
I would just like to mention that before we brought the captain down, he informed Dr. Napier and I that while he was at Henderson Station, one of the professors or PhDs there, he doesn't remember who, had a sample of the ice from Henderson Station, which seems to be the nexus of the strangeness as far as I can tell. And it was a clear, nice, transparent block of ice. And he smashed it open. And as soon as it smashed open, there was, instead of simply clear ice, in the center of it, there was a mass of mud. And it was not frozen. It was already liquid, squishy, when it emerged from the broken open ice. So
it appears very similar.
I don't know what it
Court
is.
had on his shoes.
One mystery leads to another.
But Court was not there. He went down the so-called staircase there, so he was not in contact with it, unless down the staircase there was this muddy textured ice as well.
We will have to see it to believe it.
I just want to speak to that doctor when we get there.
Indeed.
Okay. Hawkins, just a quick. Do you want to discuss it now, or do you want?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Well, I finally got there after a little while.
I wonder what happened.
Dr. Hawkins, you look like you might eventually want to discuss something, but
No. We're good. I just got my stuff together, and
cool.
we're ready to do some science. We're ready to do some sciencing.
So I'm going to skip to about half an hour before you actually reach McMurdo Station. So it's been a long 3 days. I would say you might have all talked to a few of your expedition crew members just about what's going on, but I wouldn't say it's anything proper. I think you just talk about what you might do when you get there and all that stuff, just work stuff basically. But yeah, so we're half an hour away from there, and you're all on the main deck, and you've just got the Carlyles and Worthington stood up there, and Robert Carlyle just speaks out and goes, "Well, we're getting very close to McMurdo Station, and when we get there, we will be split off pretty much instantly into groups to go on the helicopters. The pilots will be Jonesy Marsh, Emma Smiley, John Hanson. The captain's going to be a pilot as well. Also, Doug Jones, who's one of the security, will also be on one of the helicopters as well. And Emma Smiley and Jonesy, if you don't know, they are Hanson's crew. They're like his top dogs, if you get what I mean by that. So then he just basically goes, just remember, stick together. When we get there, we'll sort out where everyone will need to be, the correct stations. I will just say, all the living quarters, you'll be bunking. They're bunk beds. It's just how it is. So I do apologize that you won't get luxuries at Henderson Station.
Feels better.
I don't imagine any of us were expecting that. Keeper, I did forget one thing, if I may, please, and I would have suggested this or mentioned this also to you, Dr. Z. As we were taking samples from the captain and sort of just in general, I would like to try a psychology check on him to see if he seems in any way erratic or peculiar in any particular way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can do
And I'm not certain, by the way, that I want to be one of his passengers on his helicopter.
Okay.
So may I roll?
Yeah. Go ahead. I will say the past 3 days he's been completely sober. So.
Well, that's good. I got an extreme pass.
Okay. Again, I think the only different behavior you would have noticed in all of you is the fact that he obviously was a lot cheerier. He was a lot calmer. He didn't even wince when you took any samples. He was very forthcoming. And obviously, compared to the behavior you saw with his drunkenness and all that, it's definitely a bit peculiar that he just suddenly went sober when he seemed like an alcoholic.
Right.
But yeah. So, any questions to Robert Carlyle? Any of you got any questions to him?
Not really. I want to see this.
Okay.
We're going.
Okay. So, yeah, you'll reach McMurdo Station. It's quite a big station. And there's a lot of people going back and forth. Some military men as well. A lot of workers just going back and forth. You all get off the ship. All the cargo will, over the next couple of hours, the cargo will be taken off, put onto one of the cargo helicopters. And you're all split off. I would say all of you would be riding with Emma Smiley. You've been assigned to her helicopter. And yeah, so it'd be U6 and give me a second. Worthington and Dr. Lee, who are on that helicopter, because you're on one of the cargo helicopters, so it's quite big. So, and then the other crew members are on the smaller helicopters and the other cargo helicopters. So yeah, you are on the helicopters. It takes a while, and then eventually you reach Henderson Station, and it's quite big. So obviously you guys come in the helipad, and all the like little gaps are obviously doorways. Obviously they're actually closed. It's not the best map in the world, but you know. So yeah, you got the helipads. You'll all have gone that way, come down, and yeah. So you'll all be led in. You are all greeted by I'll just stop sharing that for now. You are all greeted by Mac, who is he's kind of the guy who is looking after the station. He's like, finally you're all here. Good to see you all. You guys are the first lot to arrive. The other helicopters haven't arrived yet. But we could see them in the distance. They won't be too long. So yeah, let me just take you to the sleeping quarters, and then you can drop off your actual things there. You better drop off your things there, and yeah, then just take a look around the station. Just get used to it. You're going to be here for a little while. If you could keep an eye out, there are a couple of other crew members somewhere. I don't know where they are. It's kind of a big place here, so.
Do we have assigned quarters?
Yeah, you will be. I think is there. No, yeah, you will all be in the bigger block of sleeping quarters. There's a bigger block. There's a smaller one, and then there's a big block. You guys will be in the bigger block sleeping quarters.
Right beneath storage and medical clinic.
Yeah, that big block.
Well, that's a handy place to be.
Okay, so that big one there.
Yeah, the big one. The smaller one is probably where the heads will probably be. So
We have heads. Can we talk to them?
Talking.
Talking heads.
Now the ladies might probably be in the same sleeping quarters as you guys. Just heads up.
Yeah. We are all grown-ups and professional scientists and such.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you all get there, and I would say over the next like half hour, everyone's got there, and yeah. So while you guys have been there, Mac has obviously shown you all where the service hatches are. They are marked. They just go underneath the station, and you can follow them along, and they have wires that connect to different areas and stuff. So if any maintenance needs to go, you go into the service hatch. I think there are 3 altogether. And yeah, so I'd say you all kind of have had a look around the station, just a quick glance. So when everyone is there, you are all taken to the mess hall, and yeah, so that's where the Carlyles and that are now, and Robert just is in there, and he's like, so I hope everyone's kind of had at least a little look around this place. So for the medical personnel and research, the researchers, so I'd say Dr. Z and Jorgen, the medical clinic and the research bed is probably where you'll be based throughout this expedition.
Yes, I would think so.
Pretty much everyone else will be in the research and tech lab and the other tech and the other lab. Lab 2 is basically just a backup lab and any other samples that you need. Obviously, the computer lab is in there as well, and any specimens that you need to keep cool or anything, there is a specimen and contained storage for that kind of stuff, but that's near Lab 2. For the mechanics, there's a vehicle and mechanical equipment storage outside, which you can use. We've got an on-site library. There's kennels, as we do have a couple of dogs here. And obviously use all the storage. That's where most of stuff will be in. So just keep an eye out. The comms, there is a comm station. So if you need to get in contact with McMurdo Station or any of the other stations, or we'll have walkie-talkies between everyone. So comm station is where you need for that. And yeah, I would say that's pretty much everything. Just over the next few days, we're going to we'll get to know this place and we'll go check out where this anomaly is in the ice. And yeah.
Did we bring Dr. Court's rotting corpse?
I'd say if you wanted to, then
I mean, that wouldn't be my call, but just it might be handy to.
I think that, well, did we or did we dump it in the ocean?
that's your call, to be honest, because obviously you kept it in.
I know we had discussed it.
Well, he turned his room into a freezer.
Yeah. So it is your call
That's
if you
true.
wanted to have dumped him or put him somewhere for containment or bring him along for.
Well, we
further-
took samples of everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do have the samples.
I don't think that it would be even with the room at the lower temperature, it would still be a health hazard. So,
One thing I will say is that all the equipment in this station is very high tech. It's all Pira Industries tech, so it's very up to date high tech.
And when we arrive, does the base look well kept and like these people are on the ball, or does it look like the crew's more lackadaisical and?
Yeah, it looks well kept. And one thing that I forgot to mention when Mac would tell you is he did mention that a few, obviously there was two, he said there might be a couple of crew members wandering around from his crew, but he did say there were a few of the scientists and doctors from this station there already out there. Well, but he hasn't seen them in a couple of days, but they do spend a few days out there in another specialized area. So.
Specialized area in the base or specialized area
It's
out?
what they set it up near the anomaly. It's what I should have told you when Mac first spoke to you, but I just forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, they set up like a container which is suitable for them to stay in.
all right. Well, let's make ourselves at home. I'll go over the lab and see if I know what everything is. Oh, look, they have tongue depressors made out of popsicle sticks.
Which lab
I
are
may
you
as well
going-
tag along.
Which lab are you going to, Dr. Z?
The medical bay.
The medical
clinic.
Okay. Can before I come, so is it just you and Johansson who are going, or Palmer? Will you tag along as well?
You're going
Oh,
to
you-
come with us, David?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Security.
Just want to know where everyone's going. So Napier, will you tag along with them, or will you go somewhere else?
I'm going somewhere else.
Okay.
You said that there's samples. I want to look for the sample of that mud that was in the ice. I would assume that's in lab 2 if they have it.
Yeah, it'd be probably, as far as you're aware, it'd probably be kept in the specimen.
Well, I'm gonna go over there and see if I can, find anything. Just look through the sample, see if anything kind of sticks out to me.
Okay. Hawkins, where are you going to go?
They have do they have a library or some kind of?
Yeah, there is a library. It's near the kennels and the second break room at the bottom. of
break
the
room,
map.
dogs, and books. That's what I'm all about. So I'm gonna go there, and
Okay.
and just start kind of thumbing through and getting caught up on what they've found so far.
Okay.
In regard to the things outside, because I'm sure they're keeping journals, notes, etc.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll go with the big group. I'll go with Dr. Z, Hansen, and Palmer as they'll reach their area first. So Yeah.
And just to throw it in there, Dr. Napier will know that all of those samples did in fact go to cryo storage. So corpse and mud and everything.
Can the three of you do a spot hidden if you enter the medical?
Oh, 3.
Oh. Whoa.
I will submit to the
Why?
O3.
You're seeing for the walls right now.
That I do believe that is a spectral analysis, semi, hemi, demi, quaver, scalpel over there. Yes.
So
Looks like this. With a cherry handle.
So one thing, who did Johansson and Palmer? Did you pass or?
Failed.
I failed.
Okay, that's fine. Dr. C might fill you in if he wants to. Who knows? So Dr. C, one thing you notice is straight away, like everything looks kind of tidy and well kept, except from the operating table, which is kind of in the middle of the room. It's kind of slightly moved and looks like it's been used at least within the last few weeks.
Is it clean?
It's relatively clean. There are like a few spots of old, like dried blood on there. So it definitely looks like it's been used for something with blood in.
Certainly not sanitary. It's not up to standards. Do I have any assistants in the medical bay? Nurses or?
You will have, as you say that, a crewman, one of the other crew members who was wandering around comes in. She's quite a young woman. Her name's Nancy, and she just walks in.
Nurse Nancy?
Yes, Nurse Nancy.
This sounds like the beginning of a pornography. All right. Is she naughty, Nurse Nancy?
No, she's well dressed.
Hello. Are you the assistant medical staff?
Yeah, I am.
Dr. Galanis. You may call me Dr. Z. Everybody else seems to call me that. This equipment here has not exactly been sanitized. When was the last time it was used?
I would say when the surveyor group were here last. So but to be honest, we've been trying to clean up a lot around here.
Well, let's see if we can get this. Now that I'm here, let's get this place up to tip-top condition.
Yeah, it's just good to see an actual doctor here because the last one. Yeah, well, I don't want to go into it. Sorry.
Well, I think, why don't we do that anyway? That sounds like it's the thing you don't want to talk about. Seems like it might be very important.
No. It's nothing. I don't want to talk about it, to be honest. I don't want to remember it. So, can we just get to cleaning, please?
Let's get the alcohol and the sanitization stuff and clean everything.
Okay.
Who is your cleaning staff for the
Well,
medical bay?
That would be it'd be me. I do all the cleaning, yeah. But me, Mac, and Michelle have kind of just been trying to clean everywhere because the other doctors have kind of just been spending a lot more time out near the anomaly or sandstone staircase.
Let's replace all of the germ guards and make sure that everything is clean. Even if they were recently replaced, we want to do them again so that I know that everything is fresh and where all the supplies are. So I'm going through cabinets to make sure I know where everything is. So.
Yeah. You'll know where like all the bandages are, all the like equipment that you need. There's all your equipment that you need, Johansson. There's obviously microscopes and all that stuff in here.
Oh,
Everything that you think you'll need is in here.
They have a nice big jar full of leeches. How lovely.
Ah, excellent. Do they have a tub of maggots as well for eating dead flesh?
Not as far as you can tell. There's no maggots.
It's actually very effective, you know.
Well,
Rather disgusting, but
Is there a place to
do they
check?
happen to have? Oh,
Oh, go
please
ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, is there a place to check?
Do they have? Oh,
David.
Is there a place to check the base's security logs, maybe to find out a little bit more about what happened, maybe perhaps transpired in this medical bay, or anything leading up to it? If I look back over the past few weeks,
anything would probably be kept in the comm station because that's where the security will probably be most of the time, or in the library is where they'd keep their logs and stuff.
Don't we have computers?
They have computers, but they also keep paper copies of everything. They keep paper copies and digital copies.
But all of the trees on the planet were destroyed in 2021. How do they have paper? When Trump destroyed the entire ecosystem of the planet.
well, it is paper made of plastic.
Plastic paper.
Yes, plastic paper.
there you go.
Right up until all the dinosaur fuel disappears and we have no more plastic.
Well,
That doesn't seem like such a bad thing.
Johansson, what did you want to ask? You were in the middle of saying something as well. So.
Oh, it was nowhere near as important as Mr. Palmer's question, really. I was just making sure they had a good supply of sample containers because my kit can only hold a couple of dozen, and I'm probably want to take many, many samples of many substances.
Yeah. There's a lot of containers, sample containers, and stuff like that.
All right.
So
And the microscope station and all that seems to be in order and have all that sort of stuff I would want.
Yeah, everything you need is there pretty much. Even some like high tech stuff.
Very good.
Oh, like they've got the skin graft machine that they've been using in the medical lab as well. So.
Okay. Well, that's very curious to me. I would definitely want to play around with that. Now, question for the GM. I missed. I was taking notes. You said there was some sort of a Quonset hut or something over covering the opening to the anomaly, and many people are staying in that. Did I hear that correctly?
It's not covering; it's beside. They've kind of made like a container
Beside,
almost. It's just beside it.
And there are people staying in there.
Yeah. Well, that's where most of the scientists and other personnel will go. So I don't know. We'll go with Hawkins first. But one thing Hawkins and Napier you will notice, it's actually walking along, you will have noticed that all the security are like actually doing their job there's patrols going along and
nothing like there was on the boat.
Yeah. Not like they're on the boat. They're actually when they were after the incident on the boat, they're on proper patrols. They're actually being a security team now.
Gotcha.
So Hawkins, you reach the library, and do you want to do like a library system there?
Yeah, that's probably
Pretty much. It's the best one for it, isn't it?
Yeah. 17 on 50. So that's a hard success. Library.
Okay.
Exploration note by Emma Watkins. Today I went with a small team to the anomaly, where we managed to dig through into a sandstone staircase leading down into some sort of entranceway. On the team was Dr. Javier Colon, our head researcher at the Henderson base, Mark Wright, our head of security, Wesley Hall, our archaeological expert, Dallas, who was our guide and demolition expert, and the members of that surveyor group who have joined us before that big expedition group joins us in a few weeks or so. Everyone except Javier and Mark went down the staircase. Everything seemed normal until we found a body. The body was only about 2 days old, which, considering we only just dug down there, didn't make sense. Until we can conduct an autopsy, we won't know the full details. After we found the body, we went back up the staircase, body bagged the body, and took it back to the base. I will perform an autopsy in the next few days.
Okay. There we go. So you find that one. I should have probably, some of that grammar got me. That was not the best. And you also find this as well.
Incident report by Mark Wright. This occurred 5 days after the discovery of the sandstone staircase. Persons involved: Dr. Emma Watkins, Dallas, and unknown male. Location: medical clinic. Incident details: Emma Watkins performed a closed autopsy on the unknown male, with the assistance of Dallas, with the rest of us watching via two-way glass. The autopsy went fine up until about 20 minutes in, when the unknown male suddenly sat up, grabbed hold of Emma, and kissed her. Then the unknown went back into its original position. We tried to get into the room, but something was blocking us from entering. What occurred next was Dallas trying to restrain Emma, who was now in a panicked state. She then slit Dallas's throat with a scalpel, stuffed an eyeball from the unknown into his throat, then gouged out her own eyes. Then her stomach just exploded. Then the door just opened. Witnesses: everyone on base.
Yeah, that's all you find in there. Maybe you might want to do a sanity roll after reading that.
66. 155. That's a fail.
Do a d6 for me, please.
Have to go to my D6 cage over here and get a D6. 4.
Okay, yeah, just have 4.
3 and 4.
Okay. Yeah, that's all you find in the library. There does seem to be like there were some of the some paper reports seem to have been moved, because there seems to be like a little bit of dust. Few areas where there's no dust and stuff. So there might be more documents scattered around somewhere.
And those are the dangers of reading. It's a 4 sanity loss.
So I'm after you've just read them, I'm going to go to Napier and his. So Napier, you reach lab 2, and it's kind of easy. You get to the specimen storage area, and yeah, all the samples that Johansson and Dr. Z would have taken, they're already in there, labeled and everything. There's a lot of samples in here. There's blood samples and tissue samples of other things. Some of them are literally labeled John Doe and stuff like that. And you do find one that is labeled mud from in the ice, and it's like in a little tube, and it literally just looks like normal mud to you. Is there anything else you want to specifically look for or try to do?
No, I mean, I'm just looking for the mud to match it up with what Jorgen had on Dr. Cord.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously you'll be able to find his dirt, and you'll be able to find their dirt. I don't even know what role that would be. What role would it be? Let's get it. I have not a clue what kind of roll that would be. Just do a roll.
What's he looking for?
He's comparing the two samples, mud samples.
Spot hidden?
Yeah. Do a spot hidden.
Yep, that was a 90.
It
looks right.
Yeah, as far as you're aware, it's the same. It looks perfectly fine to you.
No, if it's in a little tube or something, I'll just take it back to Jorgen.
Yeah, cool. Can you do another spot hidden though? If you're going to exit the specimen, can you do another spot hidden for me?
That one I passed with a 59.
Okay, cool. So there's a whiteboard at the other end, nearer to the door. There's a whiteboard, and
Whiteboard?
yeah, there's a whiteboard, and it's got a few things written on it.
Hero saw end loser up pain. Zapped.
It's
Ned,
neat. It's neat.
Zapped need hazard youth arrow tent with hero the H circled and Z circled and zapped.
So is there anything? Are you just going to head straight back to Johansson and Dr. Z, or are you going to?
I'm gonna just take those samples back. Not gonna.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of as you exit. Obviously, you're still seeing the security. There's just a couple in this area looking around. They're kind of watching you slowly as you're going back towards where you need to be. Well, where you're going back towards Johansson and Dr. Z and Palmer. Hawkins, what will you do after the library? I'll just.
Actually, I think I'm just going to go back to my bunk and think about what I read, because that was pretty impactful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, you'll go back to your bunk. So then I'll go back to Dr. Z, Johansson, Palmer, and Napier will have got there by now because it's not like too long of a walk.
Well, once we've got everything clean, then we should start a research train, see what we can find out what's causing these problems with people.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you going to look at each of the samples, look at any research notes?
Well, I'm going to look at the backlogs of medical things that have been going on, just in case the previous doctor knew something.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to do a spot hidden if you're doing the?
Sure. Oh, where's my? Oh, right in front of me. Wait, where is it? Let's see. Spot hidden. I passed by 1 point. I got 54 out of 55.
Okay. Yeah, you only find one thing. It seemed like you did find a bit of paper that had, other than this one thing that I'm going to get up in a minute, you did find a bit of paper that says autopsy report, but then nothing seems to be on it, and there seems to be a lot of dried blood on the autopsy report paper that you do find looking through.
Well, can I look through the computer?
Yeah, on the computer again, because I'll just cross-reference both. So you literally just find a document that's titled autopsy report, but nothing's filled in. So it's like they're about to start. They set it up, but they never actually started it properly.
All right. Is there anything before that about who they were doing the autopsy on, or if anybody had any weird medical problems?
Yeah, I think you would have. Before I just get the thing, I think you would have. What you would have seen on there is all notes of John Doe brought into this
John Doe
in here, and
this makes
we are going to do an autopsy on them and stuff like that. You'd have found stuff about them going down into the sandstone staircase and stuff like that. You may have also stumbled across the incident report, the online version of the incident report that Hawkins read.
My God. This is insane. And I relate it all to Dr. Johansson and David.
Holy grits. I will take a cotton swab and put it in a little bit of distilled water and dab it on the blood from the autopsy report sheet and analyze it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you did read that out to everyone, can you all do a sanity roll for reading that? I would say Napier, you won't, because you wouldn't have. You'll be about to get there. So
I passed.
Okay, you pass. Just take one if you pass.
Fail.
You pass.
Uh,
Fail.
I did the opposite of passing.
D6 if you failed.
All right, 3.
Holy shit. I lose 2.
Okay.
Research log, Dr. Javier Colon. Analysis of ice from near the anomaly, day 1. Sample of ice from around the anomaly. From further inspection of the ice that we obtained from around the anomaly, I can safely say that it appears to be normal ice. However, what was interesting was that inside the ice there was mud, a proper sample of wet mud. This wouldn't have been as interesting if I could safely say that I could see the mud through the ice, but I couldn't see the mud until I broke into the ice. Another question I must consider is, why was there mud in the ice, and why would I see it? Why couldn't I see it through the ice? There's a mud sample. From closer analysis of the mud, I can assume that this mud could be local to a country that has a lot of rain. But then how could mud from another country end up inside my sample of ice? It doesn't seem plausible. I will have to analyze it further.
That's that.
Is there any further analysis?
No, that seems to be it. And even if you search up Dr. Colon's stuff, that's the most recent thing that he typed up.
Is Dr. Cologne still here?
If he is still here, he'll be, as far as you're aware, he'd be at the
other site.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, Napier would have walked in by now. Would have just come in by now.
Hanson, Dr. Z, I have found the mud sample.
Hello,
here
Jacob.
Yeah.
that we can
Excellent.
see if we can match Dr. Court.
I fill him in on the very strange things that have been going on here.
Can I have a sanity roll?
Oh, man.
You thought you could get by without the Senate.
Let's see. 8. There we go. I passed.
just take one.
Works for me. So yeah, here's the mud sample. Go ahead and analyze it against Dr. Quartz. I did the best I could, but I didn't have the proper equipment.
Well, I will do so.
It was labeled mud
after
from
I
ice,
check
so
after I analyze the blood.
Okay. So if you're going to analyze the blood and the mud, can you do a spot hidden for me? Well, do 2.
Right.
Do one for the blood and then one for.
Could I perhaps do biology?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could do biology. Yeah, that's fine.
Somehow I managed to fail.
Well, that's just on the blood. So I want another one. For the blood. The blood.
Well, the
fine.
blood was the one I was hoping to pass, but I'll look at the mud as well. That fails pretty much anything I could have been rolling against.
You're baffled by it.
I am indeed.
It's so shocking to you.
Why don't you let me have a look at it? Another medical.
Please do.
So I will look at the blood with my medical knowledge.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I got a fucking 00. Is it red? I believe that it is red. It is red blood. Let me look at the mud. And I got a 70. I don't know what I'd be rolling on that. If that was spot hidden, I also failed that. Yep, I'm completely baffled. Apparently, it's mud and blood. Sounds
You're
like
both,
Yeah.
you're both
Sounds
probably
like
just so baffled.
Get your wits together and try again later.
it's like a video game. Mud and blood.
Could I take a look?
Suppose.
Yeah, why don't you let Dr. Palmer? I've been teaching you all about medical stuff. What do you say?
I
Dr.
have a
Palmer.
whopping 5 in science here,
Maybe you'll see something.
or a spot hidden. I don't know.
Well, for the blood, you could do a medicine or first.
No, I fail with a 51.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps
wanna
we
look
should let Mr. Curtis do his Indiana Jones thing on the blood. No. Well, we
So,
can
as
figure it
far
out.
as I can tell, it all seems normal.
We'll look at it again later.
Well, we can end it there if you want. We can end it there.
All right. Let's get a spot to end it. Our players included Josh Byram, Michael Ray, Stuart Lipley, Cthulhu Bob, and myself with Josh Harwood as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 5 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.